and Tracking System office hours. Many of you wanted to stop by my office, but I can't hold but 3 of you comfortably. So we're now in 13 SWH01, and as I mentioned, the Technical Assistance and Tracking System is the newly acquired feature that we will use within the HIV/AIDS Bureau and the rest of HRSA to request site visits and technical assistance. We are fortunate to have joining us our current contract, MSCG, who is awarded a base year and 3 option years to perform the services of coordinating site visits and technical assistance for the HIV/AIDS Bureau grantee and staff. We'll kick off by introducing this new system. Again, it is a learning process for many of you. Fortunately, it's integrated into EHB, which is a great workflow process that we have established within the Bureau. Joining me as presenters, Mr. Ramana, pronounce your last name correctly.
Kariveda.
Thank you.
And George Ersick from MSCG.
And Latanya Dunlow.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Okay, I'm going to just present the roles those are inside the TATS, Technical Assistance Tracking System. We have like 4 roles: PO, Project Officer, PQC, PAO, and CORT. So if a TA request has to be get into the system and a site visit has to happen, that request has to go through 4 phases, which is the one is the PO TA request entry, PQC approval, PAO approval, and then the last thing is COR approval. So once a COR approves it, then it's going to go to the vendor, which is MSCG here. Then we start processing it. Okay, so unless if you want to go through any flowchart, I just want to go and test the system. Okay, so if you, I think you can all see my screen here, which is the EHB screen, existing user login, which is very popular with you guys. I'm gonna use the one of our PO's username password, and again, this is only for testing. I have the data inside, it is only for the testing purposes. This is not real data. So if I use your username, so don't feel bad because I'm just using it for the testing. So somebody might be surprised, why is this guy using my username? So that is not on purpose. I want to show you the system. So these are all test accounts. Okay, so I'm logging in as a project officer. I have okay. Right now on the GoToMeeting, we have reached maximum connections of 25. So if your officers next to each other are in the same floor, please go to one place and listen to the session. We are sorry, but we have reached the maximum number of connections, and we are on the 13th floor, and we do have some space, 3 chairs. They can join us here. So I'm logging in as a project officer. So and follow me and stop me if I'm fast, and I'll take the questions after each and every module. So I'm starting the TA module here, and it is I'm just logging in.
Uh-oh, you came too late.
I know I did. They can't come in.
Okay, so when you log in, this is the screen you see. So what is new for you guys for the TATS? So just click on the activities. And again, presentation that I sent and Loretta modified, it has all these steps in there. But I want to show you the live system, how it looks when you really go into the system. So you go into activities. If you scroll down all the way, you see something called Initiate CA Request. you click on Initiate TA Request. Again, you get here by clicking on the Activities tab from the top. Okay, so now you have three options, Initiate Request options. If it is a site visit to a grantee, you are selecting this. And if it is for, I don't know whether we are doing the HAB, but FQS, this is all BPSC kind of thing. So we are not doing anything with second bullet, but there is a third bullet. If it is a special project, like manual writing or report writing, so you select the option 3. But most of the cases, most of the TA requests, you select the option 1, which is initiate a single TA request for a grantee. So when you select this, you are not doing anything on the screen, you are ignoring everything else and just click on the go button. Okay, now you are about to initiate a TA request. If you know the entity, the grantee name or number, you can just enter it here, the number, and search for it. If you don't know the number, but if you only know the grantee name, you can put the name like, and it will show all the names like. You can search by, you belongs to HAB, so your HAB is already checked here. And there is the entity state. If the grantee state is if you know only the state, you can search by state and you get a list of all the grantees in that state. And there are a lot of parameters and here by default, this list only shows the grantees you are responsible for. If you want to see all the grantees, you select all. Otherwise, if you select me and you're looking for a different grantee from other different project officer's profile, you will not be able to see if you don't select all. But most of the cases, it's going to be you, and you select me. And okay, so you have the project period start date, budget period end date. So you can put start and end date. You can search for it. So these are the search parameters we have. So right now, what I'm doing is I'm not putting anything here. I'm just clicking on the search button. This will give me all of the grantees in my profile. So I just click search. Okay, now if you see here, these are grant numbers, grantee name, city. So, and each, you can request a TA for all of these one by one after another. But every row has the initiate TA request button here. So if you are looking for primary health caring and this is the right one, you just click on this and it will take you to the next page where you actually request a TA. So I'm just clicking on one of these. So let's start with initiate TA request. Okay, now that if you see here, TA request basic information, TA request has been initiated successfully, and these are the stuff that is already in EHB. If you think the project director information is wrong, please go back and fix that before you go forward, before you move forward. This is the information which is pulled from grantee profiles inside EHBs. So once you request this and once MSCG gets it, we do not have control to fix all this. So if you think any of the information is wrong here, fix it before you actually request a TA. So, and these are the current documents like a TA request, action history. So what TA request, you can save some information today. You can come back tomorrow and finish it. So this will tell you action history, what you did yesterday, and what you it's all about your history. And TA request, it will show you whatever the data you have entered so far. Okay, and you can look for a consultant here. But the looking for a consultant is you can look for a consultant, you can suggest a consultant, but you cannot select a consultant. Okay, so these are the three things here, and you can always see the last comment here, which is initiated by PO, action taken by PO, and everything like this is the action, the last action, and each TA request has 3 tabs: basic information, TA purpose, expert. If one of the tabs has this green and red, that means it needs your input. So you cannot process, you cannot move beyond unless this becomes green. So this means X, so it needs some information from you. So coming here, so we start with the tab basic information. So the TA category now. So there are 12 categories here, but in the contract, there are 2 HAB contracts. So you will not see all of these 12. You will see only the ones that we are doing for this period. Yes, so
it's wiped out over the outside of the package.
If you would, please mute your personal lines. We are recording the session. Thank you.
okay, so just for the presentation purposes, I select the TA category as site visit to grantees. So most of your TS or site visit to grantees. So you select site visits to grantees most of the times. If it is a special project, you select special project. And if it is a report writing, something manual development, something, you select this. But again, this TA category is totally what is the TA purpose. So it all depends on that. So for one contract, this is the selection all the time, and for other contracts, this is one of the 4 selections. So I select site visit to grantees here. Now, you need to this is a site visit to grantees, and you need to select the site visit type, what it is. What are the options available under site visit? Comprehensive, diagnostic, and technical assistance. So these are the 3 available under site visits. So you are allowed to select only one. So one TA request can have only one type of site visit. So let's say I'm selecting DAG. Now, this is the address that grantee is physically probably located. This is coming from EHB. So yes, pick organization address from the last NOA, which is this. If you think this is wrong, if you don't want to go back and deal with the grantee to correct, you can just click this and modify this address. So you can type whatever you want. So, but for now, I am just using yes, pick the organization address from last NOA, notice of action, and TA to be conducted on site. So here. Now, I selected diagnostic here. I need to select the TA type. So this is the place where you need to be very careful. You will not be able to select one of these options. You will need to scroll down here to go okay, I'm just follow this thing screen, and because we have selected the site visits to grantees, we need to go here. The TA types, site visits to grantees, and we selected diagnostic over there. So you select, because you cannot select from up or you cannot select from down. You select the TA types available only under site visits to grantees.
Can I reiterate something?
Yes.
So it's a one-to-one match for site visits to grantees. If you're choosing to do a diagnostic in the main category, the TA type needs to match with the TA, with the sub-TA type here as well. That's how the system identifies you've created a accurate site visit request. Otherwise, it'll give you an error if you select the wrong relationship, diagnostic to comprehensive or diagnostic to technical assistance.
And again, if you don't know the one-to-one relationship, there is a tab here which is called supporting documents. You click on it, and there is a link to that master list of the TA types by TA category. So you can refer to that document if you don't know or if you're confused. But like if it is the site visit to grantees and if diagnostic, so make sure you select the right combination here. So I'm selecting here, and this subcategory is optional. There is no star. So if you can select, it's up to you. So subcategory is totally optional. If you don't want to select anything, just leave it blank. Okay. Now, planned TA dates. There are two types of TA dates. The planned TA dates are like the ones you want to execute. By some reason, like if the consultant is not available during those days, so please provide the alternate TA dates so that we as a vendor MSCG, we work with you on the planned TA dates. If we don't if we don't find the consultants during those days, we use the alternate TA dates. But again, these TA dates can be modifiable after approving the TA. Okay, so and again, the planned date has to be a future date. It can be today. It has to be from tomorrow. And please follow your normal procedures, 4 lines, 5 lines, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, whatever the duration. So give us the time. So I'm just putting a date, something like this, and end date is the 20th. And now I entered everything. I'm not putting any. This is optional field, but if you have information, put this one here. So this is the one important one. Choose an action. You can save it. You can save and continue. Mark as complete. Submit. So save is you can save. You come back here tomorrow and you fill the rest of the stuff. Save and continue is you save this one, go to the next tab, but you are not finishing it. So if you are done with this tab, always make sure you select mark as complete. If it is not marked as complete, you will not be able to move forward to the next screen to send it to PQC's approval. So always if you are okay with the data you entered here on the screen, please select mark as complete and click on the go button. If there are any errors, it's going to let us know. No, it's not done yet.
Okay, almost.
We're done 1/3.
All right.
Okay, basic information marked as complete successfully. You have done 1 tab of 3 tabs here. Now see, this is green. And this is, you still need to enter TA purpose, still need to enter expert. So like TA purpose, you need to scope of work, whatever it is, you need to enter it here. So for now, I'm not doing any fancy, I'm just doing test. And this will accept 1000 characters. There is a limitation. And desired outcome of the technical assistance. Again, I'm putting test. Desired product from the technical assistance. This is optional. It's up to you to use it. So I'm just putting test, but which is not a required field. Okay. Other comments, any specific comments, if you want to send any comments to the vendor, this is the place where you put any special expertise or any any consultants that you recommend, but again, this is the place you put your comments to MSCG. Now this page has 4 boxes. We filled everything. Now if you think you are done, please mark as a complete. save and save continue will do, but it will not help you to finish this. You have to do mark and complete if you are done with that particular page, that particular tab. Okay, the TA purpose information mark as complete successfully. So again, if you put something which is not acceptable, or like the dates are wrong format, or like if you didn't enter a mandatory field, you're gonna get an alert here saying like please go there and fix it. So now the last part is experts consultants. So add expertise for an individual expert. So you decide how many consultants you want. 2, 3, 1. So each and every time you need to click this for each consultant. So I'm clicking on this one. And now, see, I can identify the expertise for the consultant 1. So this is the place you put the consultant expertise, what you are looking to get out of this TA. And the expertise 1 is mandatory and these 2 are optional. So it's up to you. So but 1 is mandatory. And how many days this consultant is going to be on site? Let's say 2 days. You can do from and 2 days, or you can do by hour, or you can do by days. So you select one of 3 options. I'm selecting number of days. Okay. Is this a lead expert? You can have only 1 lead in a team, and if you are selecting more than only 1 consultant, you can just say not applicable because you have 1 consultant. If it is more than 1 consultant, select yes or no. I'm selecting yes for this particular consultant. And is a report required? If it is a lead consultant, the report is required by default. So you have to check, because the lead consultant is responsible for the report submission. So the lead consultant and report. And now what I do is I save this particular consultant. Okay. Now I have saved 1 consultant here, expert 1. With expertise. What MSCG will do? MSCG will find an expert depending on this expertise, and we give some recommendations. Okay, these are the consultants we have with this expertise, and then that is the next module we're gonna discuss. But here, and I can add 1 more consultant here. Let me add 1 more consultant. And for this consultant, expertise is something different, and TA duration is again 2 days. And we have already added a consultant as a lead expert. So this expert is no, because we already have 1 lead. Report required. We require 1, unless you require a report from each and every individual. You are checking no for team members, because team members always give their portion of the report to team lead. Team lead consolidates and uploads into TATS. Okay. So now save and continue for the expertise. Okay, 1 or more errors have occurred. So I want you to see here. I did not check this. 2 days. Okay. Okay, now expertise details added. So now you have a choice, like you have this one, and this one. So if you are okay with this particular tab, all this stuff, scroll down, choose action, mark as complete. So every page you are doing mark as complete. Okay. Information is saved successfully, and if you scroll down here, you see all green. So if these are all green, then it's safe to say you can go and submit this to, and this is here. choose action, the last step here is, not last but one step is submit and go. The next page, it will show you a summary of what you have requested so far. This is the confirmation page. You can add the email addresses. By default, PQC is added, and if you want any other person who is not a PQC, but if you want to tell them like, this TA request is being initiated by a PO, you can add this here. But you are not adding any vendor staff here. This is still internal. This is only from PO to PQC. So you are adding your colleagues here. If you do not have anything, just leave it blank. And you can select PQCs by default show up here. If it is not, you can select from here. So I'm going to select this because this is the account I tested. That's why I'm selecting this name as a PQC. So I'm sorry again, but so now you see here, like, this is the email, who is the TA request, PO, and all the stuff. Now you see all the details here, and you can put it a comment here too, so which is not required. And the final step is confirm and notify. Okay, the TA request I submitted successfully. So what happens now? The TA is gone out of your queue as a PO, and it is in sitting as part of the pending queues of PQC. And in this case, we have selected, I don't remember the name, but I can log in. So now it is the PQC's job to approve or send it back to PO for changes. So we will go to that screen next. But before that, on the TA entry, TA request, I just want to take questions about this process.
Okay, first, can I start with Andrea? Do you remember?
Yeah, I wrote them down.
Okay, thank you.
So for the types of TA, I didn't see a drop-down box for the other category. So what would we use if we were doing a site visit, but it was a follow-up site visit?
It's not a category that we recognize. It's either comprehensive, diagnostic, or technical assistance.
Okay.
Those are the three that we recognize as site visit types for grantee monitors.
Okay. And then I had a question about the consultants. If we had our own consultants in mind, how would we enter that information? If I have a consultant I know, would be excellent for my visit.
Yeah, that is part of the, you enter those names as part of the other comments field.
Right, okay.
It's a box. So you can do recommendations.
Okay.
The preferred consultants for this TA. So you can put it in the other comments box.
Okay, and then you guys will take that into consideration.
We read everything what we get, and the logistics coordinator will come back to you. Okay, so these are the consultants, you put it in your notes. If they're available, which is okay. If they're not, then she's going to come back to you and ask, like, do we have any alternate names? Okay. But we take the notes into consideration.
Yeah. Thank you. Those are my only two questions for right now. Thank you.
And I confirm Ramina's statement. Okay. So I have a second question. Actual dates of the site visit, does that include travel dates as well?
No. That is a start date
Only
on the grantee site.
Put in the door date.
Yeah.
Hold on. Oh, is a follow-up? Go ahead.
The duration of the site of the consultant hours and days, does that include the report writing also?
The duration is only the days the consultant is on site. The report dates are after, probably, because they do while they are there, and they come back and they finish the report. So that duration is only the on-site days.
Foot in the door, foot out the door. Think of it that way. That's the days.
I heard something else in Candace's question as well. Are we giving consideration for report preparation and follow-up? That's what I heard in her question. And that is already planned within any of your site visit requests, the consideration for pre- and post work that has to be done as well. So only actual days on site within the system, okay? I have to take Sandy. Yes, but you have to speak loud.
Sure. I have two questions. The one is, if we have a back-to-back site visit, so we want to make sure the consultants are going to two sites right after each other, how do we get that information communicated, or do you want that in the comment section so that you know these two visits are to be planned with the same consultant, two consecutive two-day periods, and so on?
Okay, George will help me answering this, but my understanding is you put that in the other comment section, and you communicate that to the TAC, Technical Assistance Coordinator. When she comes back to you with the team, you can tell to her, but the initial recommendation is put it in the comments box.
Right? Now, but that's two separate site visits.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, keep that in mind. Even though it's back-to-back, you have to submit two separate requests.
No, I understand that.
Okay.
But then on the other one,
Oh, we wanted to make sure everybody on the phone understood
the
too.
other site visit in the comments.
Right.
That's where I wanted to make sure that you know those
Yes.
two are linked.
Yeah.
My other question is, again, when we have duly funded like C and D grantees, do you want us to initiate a request in both of those grantees folders, and again in the comments say that this is a 3-day for 2 carts?
That's internal to you guys.
So for our purposes of tracking the number of site visits, definitely, we probably have to make it 2 separate site visit requests, Sandy, for that purpose. If it's a C site and a D site, we need to make it 2 separate site visit requests. Does that work?
I guess
That will work, but it is up to you how you want to deal with that.
right. There'll probably have to be some consideration as far as how it's counted. Because
Right.
then would you put only 1 day in one request
Right.
and 2 days in another because it's 3 combined?
Correct. So plan that prior to entering in the system if you're going to designate a certain number of days with your C component and the remaining days at the D component, and make that clear in the notes section as well. Does that help?
Right. We may have to internally
Manage
sure
that,
we're
yeah.
the same way.
Right.
You have a follow-up question? Okay.
On the screen.
Is there a list of consultants available on AHP?
Yeah, you could pull that up, right? Pull that up.
Yeah, it is there. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the list is available. The list is available while you entering the TA request. There is a link that says search for X person.
Keisha Johnson, are you still on the line?
Yes, ma'am.
So Keisha, verify that you've already done this. Keisha sent me an email while we were going through a site visit request. And let Mark know that you have verified consultants that are available within the EHB roster.
So I know for a fact that two of our three consultants are on the roster, but I'm not sure about one of them. So I guess we have to add him to the roster. Is that what you're referring to?
Did you find that by looking through the roster within TATS or just by
Oh, no. I asked them just to make sure they were on the roster.
I was trying to have an example. I thought you had reviewed the roster while we were doing. Never mind. But Mark, that is accessible. That's an accessible feature within the TA, within the TAT system.
Great,
Next question. Thank you.
You're welcome. Sorry about that.
There is no other.
No. Karen, there is no other component for this field. There's a notes section within your request where you can add an expertise that you're looking for. We're moving on to the next segment.
PQC.
PQC. Approval.
Okay, so it's a same familiar screen. You go here and you log in, and depending on your role, you see the next screen. So I'm logging in as so okay, I'm logging in this particular PO because I have selected when I enter the TA request, I identified this particular PO as a PQC. So that's the reason I'm using. And now, if you see here, this is a screen, and you click on the TATS. As a PQC, you click on the TATS. Now, you see something called PQC TA request, review TA request. This is the task that you have in your list. So you see this, and then you just see the view task. The page is loading. Okay, now the PQC can see the details of that TA. This is the number. This number is only for identification purposes, nothing else. Everything will be by grant number and grant name. And now the PQC will click on Start TA Request. Okay, so PQC get to see all the information that you entered. Okay, this is what I was talking about, Search Expert Profile Report. So this is there across all the screens, PO, PQC, PAO, and COR. So I forgot to show you probably this one there, but it is there. Okay, and now this is the information that was entered by PO in previous screens. If you see here, sent by PO to PQC. Action taken by project officer, taken on, and comments PQC selected. Okay. Now the PQC see here basic information, what we selected, TA purpose, all the TA purpose information. This is the comments field I'm talking about. Most of the time you put your comments in this page. And experts. Consultant list, consultant selected. So PQC will see this information. And now PQC have a chance to put a comment. If something is wrong or something is not good, PQC can send this back to PO. If you see it here, request change. So you can request change and click on the go button. It will go back to the PO who initiated this TA. So that's a request change. So it's a back and forth between PO and PQC. And once you do the request change, PO gets an email. PO goes there, fixes it, and sends it back to you for approval. So that's a request change. But now I'm not sending any request change for this presentation. I'm just selecting send for approval. What this means, you are sending this for the PAO, the next role approval. And again, if you see edit TA request, if you don't want to send it to the PO to change it, if you want to make edit, if you want to change it by yourself, you can also do that here. So you can change the TA request, or if you want to do that, if you want to send it back to PO, you can do that. Or if you want to send it to PAO for approval, just select send for PO approval and click on go. Okay. So again, you see the confirmation page. By default, PAO will be selected here. You cannot see it here because this is a test system and the relationships are not built here. But you can select who is going to be PO. I think I have a list in my this thing who is going to be. Let me see. I'm going to G Cook. Yeah. So this is the PO. And again, this CC list is optional. You can, if you put a CC list, they will get a notice But again, don't put vendor. The vendor list is already by default. They will get the notification after core approves. So don't put anything here if you don't have any other people but this is essentially for your colleagues, your HARSA colleagues. And you see it here, okay, this is what, this is the infamy that PAO, the TA request has been approved by, now available for review. So it's a standard text. Now you do the last step. As a PQC, you put out your comments. You can add a comments, more comments, confirm and notify. Okay, TA request sent for approval successfully. So it is gone from this PQC's queue. It is not here, and it is now in PAO's queue. I have selected PAO, I think Gary Cook. So I will log in as that PAO and I'll show you that screen. Okay, I need to log out. Log out. Okay, I'm logging in as the PAO. Okay, again, this is what the screen looks like, and you either click on tasks or assign tasks. One of these will work.
Ramana, while you're there, for both the PQC and the PAO, talk about 1 second about when you go into the screen and you see unassigned, they'll see all the tasks, and they need to know about assigned versus unassigned. If they assign it to themselves, what happens?
Okay, for the PQC,
this is important.
No, for the PQC and PAO, by default, the pending tasks will be in your assigned task list.
Okay.
So by default, it will be here under this section. If you are if you are not if you are on vacation and you are not able to come back for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you have a backup, then core can go into that list, can go into the system and reassign to a different PAO. So that I'll show you when we get a chance. Yeah, but by default, PQC and PAO, the pending task will be in their assigned task.
Right. The point is, once the task is assigned to an individual, that individual, it stays with that individual
until you reassign it to somebody else.
Unless the core reassigns it. The other staff can't reassign it to each other. Okay.
Okay, so now I'm looking at the assigned here. And here, your role is PAO, TA request, and review TA request, and view tasks. And now you see it here. This is what we are talking about since this presentation. And click on Start TA request. Now the PAO get to see all the information. Action sent from PQC to PAO. In the previous screen, it was action sent by PO to PQC. Now here PQC to PAO. So the other comments, they're going to be here, part of the action history. So you see only the last comment here. And you see any recommendations. If they put any comments here, you see here. And PAO gets to see all the information here. And any comments. And again, this comments is not required. You are required to fill the information where there is a star with a red. And now you have these options. As a PAO, you can edit this TA request and send it for approval. You can change it back, request change. It goes back to PQC, not PO. So one step back, that's it. So PAO to PQC and PQC to PO. So PAO cannot send it back to PO. So only one step back. So request change goes back to PQC. If you want to again, if you want to edit the TA, you can click this or send it for approval. This point, it goes to COR for the final approval, the fourth step in the process. So now send for approval, go. Okay, this is the last confirmation page. Again, emails and the final email. Email is to inform to COR. Like, so this goes to COR. And if you see, you need to select COR here. By default, depending on the contract, the COR will be listed here. You are not here. Lillian, I'm selecting. Yeah, you will be depending on the contract. And you both, I think, go back up to each other, I think. So
yes, Lillian.
Yeah, both going to show up there. Okay. Now, it is going to the final. Confirm and notify. Okay, so the TA request sent for approval successfully. So now it is gone out of PAO's queue. It is in COR's queue, and I log in as a COR and show the last step involved in TA request. Okay, I sent it to Lillian. Now, assigned task, again, it's going to be part of the assigned task. You do not need to go and assign it to yourself. By default, it is there. So, COR, TA request review. So, this is where the COR goes, the final approving authority. And then finds it here. Start TA request. Okay, so COR get to see all the details here. The budget period, the details about the TA, the grantee, and this came from PAO to COR. If you select the action history, this is the action history. PAO to PQC, PQC to P, PQC to PAO, PAO to COR. So this is the action history, and you see, like, the comments. Okay, let me go back to my screen. Okay, now, here, I see all the information here, which is good. I just put some comments, again, not required. Now, this is the last step. COR can edit this, save and continue so that COR can come back and update or approve it, or COR can disapprove at this point now, or request change back to one step back, PAO. And approve will take to the next phase. This is when the vendor gets the notification of this TA. Until this point, we don't know what's happening. So this is where you see here, it is going to PAO, and you're going to see this list as vendor staff. All MSCG people will be listed here, and we're going to get a notice of your approval. And it says here, this email is to inform you that TA request has been approved by COR, and the details are as follows. And you just click it. Okay, so this TA is gone out of COR. MSCG got it now. So we get this information from REI once in a day, once in 24 hours. So you put it here today, almost 2 o'clock. We will not see this information until tomorrow morning. We get the email saying something has been approved from COR, but we don't get the entire details until tomorrow morning, because the MSCG database and REI database talks for the midnight only once per night. Okay. So now at this point, the core is done. So now what happens? MSCG gets it and talks to the consultants, project officer about the consultant selection and all this stuff. And now I don't want to go through what MSCG sees here, but I want to go through the TA packet that PO is responsible for. Okay. So we prepare, as MSCG, we prepare a TA packet. What is a TA packet? TA packet will have all the consultant names with expertise, number of days, who is the team lead, who is the team member, and who is required to submit the report, and any supporting documents that you want to have with that task. So we are getting the supporting documents from COS. So we get some from Lillian, and we are getting from Lawrence. So those are the documents that will be part of each TA unless we have any special requirements. So we send that to you for your approval before it goes to consultants. So the MSCG pack, which we call PAC, Technical Assistance Coordinator, that person will come into TATS, make all these selections, consultants, everything, and send it for your approval. Where it goes, the project officer, the initiating project officer, it goes to that project officer and waits for that project officer's action. So you can approve it, you can disapprove it, you can send it back, like to make changes. So I will log in as a project officer and to see a TA packet that is already submitted. Before going to the TA packet, for the PQC, PAO, and core roles, if you have any questions, it is the time right now. So,
those on the line, are there any questions?
Yeah, that's yeah. This notes section, the data. How can you use data in the notes section? It is part of the database. I don't know whether you are trying to query the data but whatever you put in the notes section, all the approving authorities, they can able to see it, and after final approval, we will be able to see that data. So we get everything what you put in there.
Yes, thanks.
I have a question about at any level above the PO, if the TA request is edited because they have that capability, does that information get relayed via an email or anything to the people below that somebody edited it and what they did to edit it? Because I think it'd be interesting to know what change was made.
You get an email notification from PQC or PAO because you are the PO who initiated it, and you will see the confirmation page, what changes are done. Not like, you will see the final email. So, but there is no way like you can see what changed.
No, you can't see
what changed. But you see the final changes, the final page.
You get a notification that there's a change, but it doesn't contain any information about what that change was. But you will be told that, and then you're going to have to coordinate with whoever it was, like, okay, what was changed?
Most of the cases, in past 1 year using the system, what we saw is it was going back. They're using like the change request. So the PQCs and POs are not changing by themselves. They're sending it back because PO knows more about that particular grantee.
Okay.
So they're changing it back. But again, answer to your question is yes, you can see, but you cannot see the exact changes.
More often than not, they'll probably use the request change feature and put in the note section what they want you to change. Okay, and then you get to do it. So as the project officer, you'll know what was changed.
Okay, so if you have no questions, then I'll go for the TA package. Okay, now again assign task of the PO. And if you see your role, you see something called TA packet. So this is where, like, you once the TATS technical assistance coordinator from MAC, MSCG, once they submit the TA packet for your approval, this is what you see here in your queue. So you cannot miss. It is in your assigned task, and you go there and you just click on view task. Again, once the TA request is approved from core, and once we get it, you will not be able to make any changes. The only changes that we make as a vendor, we can change the start date and end date, and we can change the consultant, but we do not have control to change the TA types or any other information. So only information that can be changed after core approved is the TA dates, and that you cannot. We can be like MSCG can do that. Okay, this is the one, and now start TA packet. Okay, you see what MSCG is presented to you. Newly funded, yes. This is by default characteristics of grantee. So we are not entering any information there. So these are the planned dates. Alternatives, there are nothing. One expert is requested. TA category is site visits. TA types is diagnostic. TA type. There are no subcategories listed. And what you see, you make sure that information is right. TA packet sent by TATS to PO. Action taken by, this is my name, and I acted as a TATS here. And it was sent yesterday because I was testing this. Okay, now this is the information you put. So there is nobody can able to change it. You can see it, all this information, and the TA purpose here. All the information. So this is the expert information. MSCG selected an expert, and we do not have a rating for this particular consultant. And areas expertise, I selected this one because this is a new consultant, so we do not have in the database, but you will see something here. Lead expert, yes. Required, yes. Number of days, yes. And you can see this particular consultant's profile here. Profile means no resume. You see first name, last name, phone numbers, and expert experience, with the bureaus and all the expertise he has. We are showing 6 mandatory expertise, 3 optional. So if we have full profile, you should be able to see at least 6 expertise for each consultant. So that's what you see here. And if you like that consultant, good. And this is where the supporting documents, the documents I'm talking about, TA report format, or any other documents that needed by PO to a consultant. If PO want to share some documents to the consultant, so the consultant take them to grantee site. So this is place where we upload. Again, PO cannot upload anything here. As a tag, MSCG will upload documents here, but you can get to see the documents. You can see, and if you don't like them, you have to send it back to us. Yeah. Request change, acknowledge. So request change is, we get it back, and whatever the notes you put it here, we follow the notes, and we make those corrections. If notes are not clear, we pick up the phone, call you, and get the information, and we modify this TA packet. But if everything is good, acknowledge. Okay. This has to be acknowledged at least 1 day before the actual TA starts. That is the there are some occasions we have the cases where TA packets are not acknowledged, but the site visit has already been done. So that case is what happens is the consultant will not be able to upload a report because it will not show up in consultant queue because you have not acknowledged the TA packet. So make sure you acknowledge it at least before the start date, but as soon as possible, as soon as you get it. So that gives consultants some preparatory time. Consultant can download the documents and prepare for the site visit. So the request is please acknowledge as soon as possible before the start date. Okay, so you are good with this one. Just click acknowledge and then go. Okay, this is the confirmation page again. This page looks for all the roles same. And where are you sending it? You are sending it to the tag that was submitted. So I submitted the TA packet to you and you are sending it back to me saying this has been acknowledged. What happens now? I get a copy. George gets a copy. All MSCG folks who are involved in the contract gets a copy of it. And grantee gets a copy. Consultants get a copy. So everybody will be informed once you click on this button. Grantee is also involved here. So grantee gets a copy of this entire TA report, TA request once you click confirm and notify. Okay, so TA packet acknowledged successfully. So we get it back and we do whatever the travel arrangements, all the stuff, and consultants goes to the site visit. Now before we go on to next sections, I have two more modules, which is the TA report and PO evaluation. Those are the TA report, we need little time, but PO evaluation is a quick, we can do it. So, but if you have any questions on the TA packet, you can ask now.
Probably everybody else is sitting here thinking, I can't understand why people would not acknowledge and wait till the day before, because if you can't move forward with doing flight arrangements and the planning, why would people sit on this? To me, this is a critical thing to get acknowledged as quickly as possible, because you can't move forward with finalizing the plans.
So what happens is, as a project officer, you call us. I'm not in front of TATS, but I can send you an email. Go ahead and book the ticket. I will go into the system and then acknowledge it. So we need to respect you, and we need, because he knows the site visit. He'll come back to you. Do it. And so what happens, you're on vacation or something, unexpected thing happened and you're not there. So then it is waiting in your queue. There are some urgent requests, we are requesting for next week. We are pushing this request today, and you are not in front of the computer. There are situations, but they're very rare situations. What I'm telling you is acknowledge it as soon as you get it, so that way we have we can plan, we can book the ticket. We are booking the ticket without your acknowledgement in TATS, but via email. But we don't want to repeat that in this contract.
Well, I was going to say that I know that we don't communicate directly with you. The Corps does. So does the Corps have the capability to go in and acknowledge this for us if we're on vacation?
If you are on vacation, Corps can reassign it to your backup.
Okay. I can see that possibly happening. I can't see us email you directly.
No, but I just put whatever we had experienced in last few years. So.
How would the Corps know that Sandy's on vacation?
Okay. We get as soon as we send it, we get a notice you're on vacation if you have out of office stuff. Yeah. Then we contact Corps. Okay, this project officer on vacation. Can you reassign to the backup?
So Lillian, a component I think of the DCHAT statement of work is that you guys have to acknowledge within a certain number of days that all these confirmation pieces are done. So this is a piece that helps you do that. What's the number of days? 3 days. So hopefully 3 days prior to your...
No, that's fine. But when you were commenting about people don't do it until the day before, it was a little confusing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we processed about 100 site visits during the month of September.
Wow.
So for the different contracts, so that time there was no time, so we are just moving. So yeah.
But we gave you some leeway. Third week of October is your first one? Mine too. Okay.
We are ready whenever you are ready. So so because the Lillian's your tax consultant list is already set up. So your contract is ready for the TA. Okay.
Good.
Yeah.
And for everybody's information right now, there's only one TAC for the HAB contracts at MSCG. That's Andrea Reed, and you'll see that on your screens as that's the individual who's going to pop up.
So ultimately, she's managing at max 213 site visits.
Right.
That one person.
Well, last year she managed more than that.
Sarah, you have a question? Oh, any other questions on the line? All right, hang in there. We're getting there.
Yep, a couple of more modules, and I know it is too much in one session, but you need to go and start using that. So.
What you got there? We did our site visits done.
Okay, so the TA packet has been acknowledged, and we do what we have to do. We book the tickets, all the stuff. So now the consultant team is on site and done with it. Now it's the time for the report. So this system takes a report depending on your requirements. If you selected a report required for each individual while you are doing the TA request, each individual is responsible to submit the report. If you select a report required only for the team lead is responsible to submit the report. In that case, team members, they have to send their portions of the report, contributions to team lead. Team lead consolidates and puts into a big report, the report template, whatever we are using for the contract. So the team lead uploads that into TATS. That point, project officer gets an email saying this has been uploaded into TATS, and TOR, technical assistance reviewer, this is a vendor role. We get a notice. So for this contract, the PO is reviewing the TA report submitted by consultant. So TOR is here only the pushing the buttons, for approval process from one level to other level. But TOR is not really doing anything here, but PO is reviewing, I think directly talking to the consultant and making those changes and editing all the stuff. So that's what my understanding is, the PO is doing it. So as soon as the report comes, a contribution task will be created in PO's role. So I'll go to PO, and for this one, I am very sorry for this. I have to use a different bureau screen because I cannot test TA report because I do not have that much time to finish a site visit and create a TA report. So I passed until the TA packet, and TA report is a couple of days away. So I cannot show a HAB thing, but I can show it is except the labels, everything is same. Only labels are different here.
We're not offended.
Thank you. Okay, now okay, so this is again PO screen, and if you see my recently accessed, this is common across all your roles. If you have accessed something recently, it's going to show up here. If you see here, the TA report is showing up here because I accessed it yesterday, but I'm not going from here, I'm going from Assign Tasks. And here, TA report. POTA report, contribute to draft TA report. And there are 2 in pending. 1 is started, and let's view tasks. You see 2 TA reports here, 3 TA reports, and you can select anyone, contribute. If you see this is in progress, this is not started, this is not started. What that means? In progress, you have already started some time ago, yesterday or day before, whatever, but you have not finished the task. This one you didn't get a chance to take a look at. So this is the one which is already in progress, so I just click on it. Okay, so last comment, TA report assigned by TAR. TAR is our employee or colleague. This is the report, all this stuff. This is the report that's submitted by consultant. You click on it, you can download it, and you can make edits, and you can keep that track changes. So once you do that, so you downloaded this and it's on your desktop, you worked through it, now you are done. You are ready to send your comments back to the consultant. Again, you cannot send that directly to the consultant. You will send that back to TAR. TAR will send it back to the consultant. If you want to deal directly to the consultant outside of the TATS, that is different. That is via email. But if it is in the TATS, you will download this, make the changes or corrections. You put all your track changes there, and you uploaded this here. Additional draft report confirmation.
I think further explanation is needed here when we have multiple layers of review and contribution that happens external to TATS. So those features have to take place between your normal communication and engagement that you have with the branch chief, a senior advisor, clinical advisor that also contributes to your final report. They cannot do that within TATS. So be sure to download, ask for your changes in a separate document, and then upload the final version of those contributing revisions. All right?
And what's important here is you only get one chance right, to do a report contribution. We'll get to another option you have later. But for that, track changes, if you need to discuss with clinical advisors, whatever within your organization, branch chiefs, you want all those comments then on that one that you're going to put into TATS as the project officer contribution, because you're not going to be able to go back and do another contribution. You only get one contribution in TATS. There is an option further on that we'll talk about in a minute, but as the project officer, you only have one option, one chance to do a contribution. Okay? And that, as Ramana mentioned, goes to the TAR, the Technical Assistance Reviewer, who's at MSCG, who will then in turn, just so you know the process, do a request change that goes from the TAR to the consultant. Okay?
Okay, so you click on this attached file, you upload your version here, and you click on upload, and after doing this, you will still have to choose action and submit. If you don't submit, TARS, we don't get it, and it will stuck there in your queue. Yep. If you submit, this will be cleared from your queue. So as long as you see in your queue, that means it's still with you. We did not get it yet. Okay. So here, again, I was just want to repeat this. You download this, you follow your normal procedure with a PAO, PQC, all those clinical senior advisors. So you do whatever so you upload here the final comments document. And as Judge said, you get only one choice. So once it is uploaded once, there is no way you can go back and do the contribution again. So, and you upload your report here, you upload it here in this step. And this is what it is, and you can put some comments here. Now that is done, then submit.
One thing I want to mention to everybody, there are certain buttons you need to be careful about. There is no whoops button in TATS. If you hit submit, approve, acknowledge, confirm, and notify, it's gone, and you can't get it back. So just keep that in mind. So if you're going to do that contribution, be sure that's the report you want in. Obviously you would, but don't hit submit until you're absolutely sure you want that to go forward, because you can't get it back. It's gone, and nobody can help you.
Yeah. So once you submit here, this is the point. MSCG gets a notification. The TAR gets a notification that PO has contributed. So TAR goes into the system, grabs the document, sends it back to the consultant to make the final changes. Again, for consultant is the same process. Consultant makes the changes, uploads it, PO gets it. So the process starts again. Right. So from consultant to TAR, TAR to PO, PO back to TAR, TAR back to consultant. So this is a chain like that, like circle until the final reports. And here in the system, when PO's like if PO is ready, PO want to approve it. Once the contribution is done, PO will see a button here which is send for approval. That will send it to PQC, and in TATS, the final approver of the TA report is PQC, not PO. The final approval will be with PQC. So as a PO, you approve yourself, your part of it, you say, okay, this is good, send it for approval. You send it to PQC, and PQC does the final approve button, and that will be archived. And again, this will stay in TATS. It will not be linked to your site visit module, where you have the other site visit reports. That's a different module, and this is a different module. This will stay only in TATS. And at any point of time, if you want to go to the reports, there is a button called
While Ramana's going to that, for any of the PQCs who are on the line, if you hit approve, that is it. That document cannot be altered for any purpose, reason, shape, or anything else. It's in TATS, it's archived, and you cannot get another version of that report into your EHB or TATS or anything if the PQC hits approve. That is the end of that report's history.
So does the grantee see it in TATS?
No.
No. Hello there.
What in the site? PO then has to manually pull it out of TATS
and put it in
then
the
upload it into the site visit module.
That's correct.
And that's what it's at that point that the grantee will see.
Whomever's on the line, please mute your phone. We can hear lots of background noise, please. Just to repeat the question that was in the room and to further emphasize that the site visit module and TATS are not married. They are two separate modules that we seem to have to do duplicate work, meaning we take a report from the TATS and place it in the site visit module.
Okay, so now, if you have already approved report and you want to know where it is, you can always go to the section called reports. And now you have a lot of options. One of the options is TATS, TA, reports. lot of pages.
I can search by the TA number.
Yeah. There are lots of tags.
While Ramana's scrolling through another thing, since we're all new to TATS, and the consultants will be new to TATS as well, and they may be used to dealing with the project officers in terms of moving the reports back and forth. The initial report to be uploaded in TATS can only be done by the consultant. Okay, we can't, MSCG can't do that. You can't do that. And then, so that's going to take a little bit of a learning curve for consultants who haven't dealt with TATS also, because if they're used to sending it to you and, you know, they think you can upload it in the TATS, you can't, and you can't send it to us because we can't either. The initial report upload has to be from the consultant.
It's hidden somewhere here. I don't find it. Start with that, and there are a lot of things to start with that. But I'll show you on a different screen where I can have access. So yeah, I'll show you on the different screen. Yeah, I'll show you on a different screen how to get onto the TATS reports.
So there's a question in the room, and the question is, does the consultant have access to EHB? No, never.
No.
Absolutely
Correct.
not. So they're working through a portal that MSCG has established for that successful submission to TATS system as well, because we can't credential all 1,400 consultants.
Right. And for everybody's information, MSCG only has an interface with the EHB through TATS. So this will happen at some point in time, just given computers and systems. Somebody is going to say, I cannot find that report in my EHB. I'd love to help you, but I can't. Okay, I can't see your screens. I can't get into EHB. The only part of EHB that I can do is this small interface that's called TATS. Okay, so whoever your EHB internal expert is, if you lose it in EHB, that's who you have to go to.
In those instances where that we have.
A question. In those instances where the DCHAP consultant is the lead, should the report be initiated in EHB and not TATS? It has to be TATS.
It's in TATS.
It has to be TATS because the consultant would not have access to EHB.
Yep. You have a question behind you.
Yes, Sarah.
I don't remember where the screen was, but it was early on, and you note who is the lead consultant. Well, in Part A now, we are not having a consultant as a lead. It's always the project officer. Is the system going to, and I thought when I saw the screen, I would just check other as the lead. That's not going to.
You don't have to use the lead. You can use not applicable. You
Right.
the option
NA.
to use
You
not applicable.
click NA.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the same with Part B.
You want to log on as me so they can see that screen?
We would collect 3 different reports, say, from fiscal, clinical, and admin.
If you check in that initial component that you want reports from them,
Okay.
you have to check that.
Because
That's-
I'll have to manipulate, the
Yeah.
project officer, I'll have to put it all together and make it flow and all
That's
that.
right.
Right.
And then I can only put it in what it's called.
You would send that final version back to that consultant to make sure they make the submission to TATS. Otherwise, it's not recognized,
Yeah, right.
the report.
In your scenario, if you're saying, okay, so you've gotten your 3 separate reports, let's just say 3, and you've massaged them, going back and forth with the consultant, and now here's what you want either the consultants to do or you want it to be re-entered into the system. You do a contribution back that comes to me. I'll do a request change with those documents back to the consultants plural. They in turn, as I mentioned before, will have to upload those documents in the TATS.
So Sarah's final report that she's
Right.
comfortable with actually can go to the TAR,
Yes,
not the consultant.
it goes to the
That
TAR.
right.
Thank you.
Goes to the TAR.
It does go to the TAR. Don't
Now
send
that
it
we're
to the
clear,
consultant.
now that we're clear on that,
Right.
it's going to the TAR.
Right.
All right. Next question.
Well, I'm asking one for Sarah because I'm just thinking of something to tag on to that. So because you've marked required for each of those 3 consultants that they have a report that I'm sure is attached to their honorarium and everything. So when she sends it back to the TAR, is that going to have to then, each consultant is going to have to submit that for Sarah's approval in TAT for it to then generate the completion of their site visit responsibility?
Because the TAR has
Yes.
So
received,
the 3 reports is going to have to be submitted 3 times by each
Yeah.
consultant once.
And we, having done this before, knew that there were going to be situations where you were going to have multiple consultants who do not have a team lead submitting multiple reports. But the answer to that is each of those consultants' submission of their reports, their individual reports, is dependent on their voucher, their payment, and all
Right,
that.
but you're talking about, you're combining
Yeah,
all 3 of those into one
I'll be
report.
combining them, and I'll be doing an introduction. I'll be
So
contributing.
that's
to
fine
it.
for the TAR. But in the event, if we're talking about their compensation,
Right.
once they've made their individual report submission, that's an indication of their opportunity
Right.
for compensation, not the fact that we get one final report,
Right.
but the fact that they've submitted what was required of them, which is that piece of the report.
So the honorarium is tied to your initial submission, not that we approved it.
It is supposed to be tied to the approved site visit report.
Right.
But if you have more than 3 consultants, if you're accepting their contribution, because we're not going back and forth in the system, but you're accepting it, then that is in fact deemed appropriate for compensation of their work.
Okay, just
All right.
yeah. Just
We'll,
one
we'll
more.
work with you on any of that.
You want to read it?
Sorry, we have another question. Oh, wow.
Excellent consultant. That is not in that. That is not in that.
Okay. So Karen, we're reading through your question. There is not an external consultant, rather DCHAP is the lead consultant. Would the DCHAP staff team lead have the authority to initiate the report in TAT? And Lillian's response is, for Part C and D, in every instance of a DCHAP site visit, there will be a team lead. That is an expert or a consultant with 5 or more years of experience in HIV/AIDS care and delivery, right? Okay.
Which means that's the individual who will upload.
Okay.
For example, and continuation of the question.
Yeah, I think that's the continuation of
Okay.
the question. That's not going to be an instant.
Any questions or move on?
So we're moving on now. Thank you.
Okay, so the project, we have discussed the TA report, TA packet, TA report, and now the evaluation. So the evaluation is like, there will be 2 evaluations. One is from grantee, one is from PO. As soon as the TA site visit end date is passed, a pending task will be created for a PO to submit the evaluation and for a grantee to submit the evaluation. Grantee gets an email asking for the evaluation, and grantee can, we are getting almost 60 to 70% of the responses, but not 100%. But we follow with the grantees to make sure we get the evaluations. But again, it's optional for grantee. And coming to the PO evaluation, where it is. So I logged in as a PO, Lillian, and if you see the assigned list here, it is here, the assigned, TA evaluation, provide evaluation. So this will be here until you do something. So if you are not if you are ignoring it, it's going to show up here. So view task.
for those in the room and on the phone, our evaluation as the PO is not optional. We have to complete an evaluation. It is only optional for the grantee.
Okay, now you see this, and now you start the evaluation here. Okay, so TA evaluation, these are the details. Now you scroll down. See, this is what Larissa is pointing out. Would you like to provide evaluation for this TA? So what she's saying is, for this contract, for the HAP, it is required. It is yes, all the time. Okay, now this is the consultant you are evaluating. So now these things are changed because these are the old screens. I am using the testing link. These things are changed, but the questions are still same. Okay. This question is not going to show up in the evaluation because this is totally towards the BPIC, so you don't see those questions. But the questions you see is, I think, starting from the next screen. Let's start by doing something here. What we have. Okay, now I did not submit it. I just saved it. Okay, this is the one I'm talking. So if you want to evaluate, these questions are not for HAP, it's for only BPIC. This is the one you are interested in, expert evaluation. You see the expert name and perform evaluation. Now you see a bunch of questions. Okay, these are the questions. Knowledge of the programs. All these questions. These are like, standard questions and not applicable if this question is not applicable, and this is 195, between 195 the rating. And then if you have any comments, usefulness of the TA for that particular expert. And you do this for each consultant. This is not for all the consultants. You see the name here.
So if you have more than one,
you see the name here. This is for this particular consultant. So you have to do this. If you have 3 consultants, you have to do this 3 times, and it will ask you to go into the next step, next step, next step. So it will guide you to go to next once you completed this screen. So once this is done, what you do is you save and continue. So this point, what happens is this, you save and continue, it goes to the next page where you see the final evaluation for that particular consultant, and you still have to do 2 more consultants. You have to follow the same process to complete that, and then once you are done with that, you come here, choose action, and submit. This is when you submit. So at that point, the evaluation will be submitted, saved to the database, and everybody get a notification, and this task will be deleted from your queue.
As the vendor, we would really appreciate when you rate a consultant that you provide comments, particularly if there is an issue with a consultant, either unprofessional or their information, if you mark them low, we'd like to know why you indicated that. Part of the process, however, not to get you off the hook, but the reality is the way we work, if there is a consultant who has a low rating, the person, it's going to be me, is going to come back and contact the project officer anyhow and say, let's talk about this, and what are your insights about why this consultant was rated so low? Okay, so, but we do appreciate your comments, and we also appreciate comments when you think somebody's outstanding. That would be good to know too. It just doesn't have to be negative.
Okay, so the last piece of it is like, I was having some problems showing you the reports, but I'll revisit that. I'm going to do it again. So we have covered TA report, sorry, TA request, TA packet, TA report, TA evaluation from PO, and now the last thing is reports. So at any point of the time, if you want to run a report, I will show you what are the options you have for the TATS. So you click on reports on your screen once you log in. We're almost there. Okay, I'm just browsing so that I want to see all 5 reports. Okay, these are the options you have. TATS expert profile report. You click there. I just clicked on it. You put a first name, last name, or any details you have, and you can find a expert if you know the name, or if you are looking for only for on the by bureau, or if you are looking only for the lead experts. There are advanced search parameters, if you are looking on the expertise or the TATS physical location, the TATS language, primary language, not primary, but the other than English, race, ethnicity. So you can find, these are the options. You can select and you can just hit search button here. That will give you the list of the experts with your search parameters. Okay. Okay. The other one is the TA evaluation status report. This is what it will give you. If you submit an evaluation and you want to see, there is no way, these are only reports. There is no way you can modify or edit or do anything. This is just for the information only. So you go there, you click on the TA evaluation status report. And now, if you want to see an evaluation that you submitted for a particular entity, for a grantee, you can put the grant number, grant name, or there are a lot of searching parameters. So you can use one or all, or and all. So that's up to you. So there are a lot of features here. And you see the evaluation that you submitted for that grant, for that site visit on the consultants who submitted, who performed the site visit.
Will they be able, I think they're able to see the grantee's evaluation too, is that
they
right?
Here.
Right.
They can see, you can see the evaluation that you submitted, and as well as you can see the evaluation that grantee submitted for that particular site visit.
Right. So when you go into that particular site visit, you will see both yours, and if the grantee submitted one, you'll see their evaluation of the consultants as well.
I wondered, was there a field that you indicated, I might have missed it, whether the project officer is on site or not, in terms of evaluating the consultants?
There is not in TATS, okay? That's why yours truly, if there was a problem evaluation, follows up with the project officer, because my first question is always going to be, were you on site? Just so I know what you're feeding me back, so. But there's no field in TATS that tells me that. That's why I have to do that.
The TA packet status report, this is for us as a vendor, so because you already have that is in your queue. So, and the TA report is you have already submitted, contributed your comments, and you sent it for the bureau PQC and PQC approved it. Now there is no way you can get to that. Okay, so if you want to see the report that was approved by you, submitted by a consultant, this is the place. You go, you come here, you get it, and you take this onto your site visit module. So this is the place. So you come here, TATS, TA report, status report. Now, again, if you know that TA request number, the big number, TA000952, if you know the number, it's easy, you can find it. If you don't remember the number, if you have the grant name or grant name like this one, then you search on it and your results will be displayed. So let me see, let me just do a search.
As a helpful hint, you almost always want to use that TA number, because similar to the other programs we've dealt with, you're going to have grantees with similar names. And if you type in one of those names, you may get the wrong grantee. Use the TA number. It's easy. It's the shorter number of the numbers that you have, like the grant number is much longer. Just that's the easiest way to do a search, is just use the TA number.
So like it is still searching the database, but you see the results. Like the searching parameters are same most of the time. You put either you can search by grant name, grant number, TA name, the TA number, or if it is a search for a consultant, you enter first name or last name or expertise depending on those parameters. Okay, the last one is TA request status report. This is again like, I don't know whether you use it or not. This is a feature which is there. But the TA request is already in your queue and you are the one who submitted it. And if you want to revisit and see what you have submitted, this is the place. You come onto the TATS reports and you click on the TATS TA request status report and you can find it. But most of the cases, this is for vendor, because we go there and we find the information. But for you, it's going to be mainly the experts information and TA reports information. Those are the two things that, like, most of the project officers use in the report section of the EHBs. So this is in your EHBs, this report. So you drive from there. Okay, so that's that's the TA report, the TATS reports. So that's all 5 modules. And let's see if you have any questions, and in the room, or we have something in the question is there a space for the grantee to provide feedback on the team? Yes, a grantee will get a link as soon as the consultant team done with a site visit. So at the end of the site visit, the grantee will get a link and a request to submit the evaluation on the team. Once they submit the evaluation, you will get a notification saying that this particular grantee has submitted evaluation for this team. So yes, the answer is yes, grantee has space for the feedback.
It's a comments box, and that's a lot of grantees do use that to talk about their overall impression, in addition to rating each individual consultant.
Now, it's just one evaluation for a grantee, correct? Because
correct.
Currently, we'll have oftentimes them pass them out to multiple people who participated in the visit. So they really have to probably do a query and come up with an average response, right?
Yeah. So the notification goes to the project director of the grantee, and that is the only person who can submit, but they have to collect the information before they come to the system to submit the evaluation.
Yeah. If there's multiple below that project director, yes, they're going to have to consolidate. They're going to have to query their compatriots.
Any other questions?
It's like, yeah, your heads are about to explode, right?
Yeah, I know it's too much to cover in 2 hours. There are 5 modules, but again, the first module I spent 1 hour on that one because that is the one you are starting. So, and from that, once you are done that, this is going to be next steps. And again, all the materials, the presentations. Right. So she will have she will distribute, like, that will serve as a guide to you.
Yeah.
Okay. So those presentations will serve as a guide to you because there is no documentation, clear documentation in the system available at this point. Okay. So these are more than enough because this has every step involved in the process.
So to reiterate Ramanand's guidance here, we have a flow chart that pretty much tells how things move, but it's not pictorial representations of the system, but it tells you the different contributors that need to take a role in each of the actions. We also have a slide presentation, and what I did was came to this meeting with that presentation and took notes from questions to try and insert notes within the slides for each of you to use. So those things will be disseminated afterwards. We also have checklists that will come forth with this presentation as well. I just want Ramanand to give it a quick look once more. Did she remember these? Checklists of the various roles and actions that you'll have to take within TATS as well. So we're going to give you support, and Lillian and I are going to team up to make sure we all become power users of TATS. But once you use it 3-4 times, you pretty much become expert, honestly.
It's actually much more complicated at the vendor's end.
Yeah. 3 times.
We can start now?
You can start now. You can start now. There is some migration of data that's still occurring, particularly with the consultants, because we have additional consultants that need to be updated in the system. All roles have been validated for each of you, meaning your PO roles, your branch chief roles, etc. Right now, I'm only expecting 2 from Part A between October and December. But okay. So, yes. So
one thing, just so you know, in Part A, I'm very typical. I'll have a site visit in December, and then I'm not on the schedule again for 2 more years. So I don't know about this, using it 3 times and learning it. Because I can't remember what happened last week.
Well, that's why they invented stickums, which I have all over my computer screen.
any other questions on the line? Wendy, did you guys answer that from Wendy?
Yes, ma'am, I got the answer. Thank you.
Great. So this concludes our first office hours for the technical assistance and tracking system. I have a feeling we'll be doing many more of these. And also beware that at the HRSA level, we're planning to do more sessions like this as well as the system becomes more integrated in the entire agencies from the various bureaus and offices. Okay? Thank you guys for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.